All right, welcome back to Bobcats. Here we go today. Today we are doing Chapter 9, Lesson 11. You want to put that in your notes. We are adding mixed numbers. If you remember from our definitions before, a mixed number is a whole number and a fraction. Today our objective, our goal, we're going to be adding these mixed numbers in word problems and just going ahead and adding the problems together. So let's take a look at our vocabulary. Again, mixed number. You want to write this into your notes. A mixed number is a whole number and a fraction. So 3 1/2 is a mixed number. 12 7/8 is a mixed number. 3 4/9 is a mixed number. Okay, so we're talking about the whole number. This is the whole number portion of the mixed number. That's this part. And then the fraction portion, I'll underline the fraction in blue and circle the fraction in blue. Those are our fractions. So whole number and fraction, mixed number. All right, so how do we add these mixed numbers? So in your notebook, if you'd go ahead and write down these steps, and I'm going to comment on these steps and give you an example there to the right of 1 1/4 plus 3 5/6. So let's take a look at these. I've already highlighted some of the key terms that I want you to be aware of. Let me get a pen here. I think we'll get a black pen. So step number 1 asks to find a common denominator by finding the LCM of the denominators. We have been through that. As we look and we can see we have a 4 and we have a 6. We do not have a common denominator, so we're going to have to make a common denominator. So as we look at these two denominators, 6 and 4, 6 is our largest number, and I ask myself in my head, can I multiply 4 by something to make it equal to 6? No. So we go to the next multiple of 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. Can I multiply 4 by something to make it equal to 12? The answer is yes. So 12 is our LCM. I know you guys are comfortable, a little more comfortable with finding LCMs. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is now we're going to make those equivalent fractions. I've highlighted that word equivalent fractions. Again, starting with the top here, I'm multiplying 4 times 3 to be 12, so I got to multiply the 1 times 3. So 1/4 is equal to 1/12. Looking at the bottom fraction, 5/6, I have to multiply 6 times 2 to equal 12, so I'm multiplying the top, the fraction, our numerator, 5 times 2 to equal 10. So 5/6 is equal to 10/12. All right, let's go back and take a look now. Let me get a different color. How about purple? Now, we're going to add the numerators. So, we have our common denominator here. This is why we did that. Now we're just going to go ahead and add these two numerators together. So 1 plus 10, that is equal to 11/12. Okay? That's all we have to do there for step number 3. Just add the numerators and make our new fraction. Step number 4. How about green for this one? Step number 4. Now we're adding the whole numbers. So as you look here, I have 2 whole numbers. I have 1 and I have 3. So 1 plus 3 is 4. And remember, when we're writing a mixed number, that whole number should be as large as the fraction. So you see it, how I've written that? 4 11/12. Let's go ahead and take a look. Number 5. Can we simplify the fraction? Well, as we look at this, I have taught you guys if the number on top is 1 less than the number on the bottom, and we can't simplify this any further. It is already in simplest terms. 4 11/12 is our answer. Have to have that whole number along with that fraction. Remember, we're writing these as mixed numbers. All right, let's take a look at another example to put into our notes here. So again, first thing I want you guys to get trained to look at is these denominators. And you can see they are different numbers. So that tells me, yep, we're going to have to make common denominators. We're going to have to find our LCM of 4 and 5. 4 doesn't go into 5. Next number, 10. 4 doesn't go into 10. Next number for 5, 15. 4 doesn't go into 15. But it does go into the next number, 20. So our new denominator, our new common denominator, is equal to 20. So the next step is to go ahead and make those equivalent fractions. So starting with the fraction up here on top, 5 times 4 is equal to 20. So I've got to multiply 2 times 4, which is equal to 8. Looking at the bottom fraction, 3/4. I'm multiplying that 4 times 5. Which means I got to multiply the top number by 5 as well. 3/4 is equal to 15/20. Our next step is to go ahead and add these numerators now that I have the denominator the same. 20 there, 20 there. I can just take this 8, I can take this 15, add 8 plus 15, which is equal to 23. I'll go ahead and write this right here. I'm kind of running out of room a little bit. 23/20. Next step is to go ahead and add these whole numbers. So I have 11 plus 7. Remember, I'm writing these whole numbers as large as I write the fraction. So 11 plus 7 is 18. I'm going to write 18 and 23/20. So if we take a look at this whole number now, remember, we have that special kind of fraction, which is an improper fraction. So I'm going to split that fraction apart away from the whole number for just a second and go ahead and work with it. Let me go ahead and do it up here. So we have 23/20. Now since we have that improper fraction, if you remember, that improper fraction, I'm going to go ahead and create just a little fraction like so. So 20/23. 20 goes into 23 one time. I subtract. I get 3 as my remainder. My remainder, remember, is the top of my fraction. The bottom of my fraction is what we divided by. Why is it not wanting to write? So I have 1 and 3/20. So 1 and 3/20 is equal to 23/20. So if I go back to my original problem here, let's go ahead and write this in black. So what I have is I have 18 plus, and I just said that 23/20 is equal to 1 and 3/20. So I have 18 plus 1 whole and 3/20. So all I'm going to simply do is I'm going to go ahead and add these whole numbers. What's 18 plus 1? 18 plus 1 is equal to 19. That's my whole number. My fraction, it's just whatever I have left over here, which is 3/20. So my answer is 19 and 3/20. All right, let's take a look at this problem here. It says a hammerhead shark swam 2 1/4 miles. The next day it swam 1 1/4 miles. Excuse me. How many miles did it swim altogether? And we're looking for those key words, altogether, right? Or a total. Whenever we're finding a total, that means we are going to be adding. Okay, we're looking for those key words when we are working on word problems. So, what is the total? Total of what? Well, he swam 2 1/4 miles, and he swam 1 1/4 mile. So, in order to solve this, let me get a block pen. We're going to go ahead and add these two together. Again, I'm going to write the whole number and the fraction, the mixed number, plus, I'm going to write the other one next to it, 2 1/4. I'm going to add those two together. Again, I want you guys to get in the routine of looking at our denominator. I have a 4, I have a 4. What does that mean? That means that I do not have to make equivalent fractions. I already have equivalent fractions. They are 4. They have the same denominator. They are common. So I just simply have to go ahead and add my numerator here. 1 plus 1, that is equal to 2. My denominator stays the same as 4. Next step is to go ahead and add these whole numbers together. I have a 1 and I have a 2. So I have a grand total of 3 and 2/4. Can I simplify my fraction is my next question. Well, 2 and 4, they're both even numbers. And I've taught you if we have even numbers, that means we can go ahead and we can divide both of these by 2. Am I dividing the 3? No, I'm just looking at the fraction. Ignoring that whole number for right now. I'm just making this fraction. So, just taking a look at the fraction, 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 2/4 is equal to 1/2. Is that my answer? Well, I got to put the whole number with it, right? So my answer is my whole number, 3, and my new fraction, 1/2. 3 and 1/2 is going to be your answer. The mixed number, right? We're writing it as a mixed number. All right, guys, this is a chance for you to work on some. I would like you guys to go ahead and attempt number 2 and number 4. So go ahead and pause the video, work these problems out, and then come back for the solution for number 2, and then pause the video and come back for the solution for number 4. All right, so let's see how we did with these two mixed numbers. Again, I'm writing them vertically, one on top of the other. So 4 and 3/5. Notice how I'm writing that mixed number. Whole number and fraction are about the totally same size. Plus 3 and 1/5. All right, now I'm going to look first and foremost, I'm going to look at my denominators. Are they the same? If the answer is yes, and it is in this case, then I just need to go ahead and add these two numerators. So 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. My denominator stays the same. I'm still cutting it into 5 pieces. Now I need to go ahead and add my whole numbers. I have 4 plus 3, which is equal to 7. So 7 and 4/5. Can I simplify 4/5? Well, if you have my notes memorized, you know you can't simplify this number because the number on top is 1 less than the number on the bottom. So 7 and 4/5 it is. Hopefully you got 7 and 4/5. If not, you see your error if you made one. All right. Pause the video again. Try number 4 if you would for me, please. And then come back for the solution. Number 4, we are looking at 5 and 1/12. And we are adding to 5 and 1/12, 6 and 1/4. As we carefully look at this, you can clearly see that we have different denominators this time. We have a 4 and we have a 12. So that tells me I'm going to have to find an LCM. I'm going to get a common denominator. Common denominator between 12 and 4 is going to be 12. So I've got to make some equivalent fractions here. Well, that's 12, so that has to be 1. That's pretty simple. I multiply 4 times 3 to make it equal to 12. So I got to multiply the 1 times 3 to make that equal to 3. Now I can go ahead and add these two numerators together. I have 3, I have 1. 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. My denominator still stays the same. I'm still cutting it into 12 pieces. And then I'm going to go ahead and add these two whole numbers together. 5 plus 6 is equal to 11. Notice the size. I have 11 and 4/12. Now I have to ask myself, can I simplify this fraction? Well, I know that 4 is an even number, and I know 12 is an even number. So I know 2 goes in. So ask myself, if 2 goes in, does 4 go in? Well, 4 obviously goes into 4. Can I divide 12 divided by 4? Will it go in evenly? Sure it will. So I need to go ahead and simplify these two, and I'm going to divide them by 4. Let me extend this fraction line just a little bit. So my answer, I'm still going to have 11 as my whole number. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is equal to 3. So 11 and 1/3. Now I know this is in simplest terms because, again, if you follow my notes, you have a 1 here as your numerator. Whenever you have a 1 as a numerator, you cannot simplify it any further. 11 and 1/3. Hopefully you got both of those correct. Let's go on. Let's take a look at the next one. All right, these they have set up the way I want you to go ahead and write them. So in your notes, I would like you to go ahead, excuse me, I would like you guys to go ahead and work out for me. Let's go ahead and, again, let's do number 8 and number 10 for me. Pause the video, work those two problems out, and then come back for the solution, if you would. All right, so let's take a look at these two problems. I think I'm just going to rewrite them so you can see it a little bit easier maybe on the screen. 3 and 4/9, and we are adding 4 and 2/3. All right, so as we look at that, look at your denominators. We got a 9, we got a 3. That tells me we're going to have to get some common denominators here. LCM of 9 and 3 is going to be 9. Make our equivalent fractions. 4/9 is equal to 4/9. This one I'm multiplying by 3, which means I'm multiplying the 2 times 3. Now I have my common denominators. Now I can go ahead and simply just add these two together. 4 plus 6 is equal to, we have 10/9. Let me go ahead and add my whole number. So I have 7 and 10/9. Am I done? No, you're not done, because if you look carefully, your fraction is actually an improper fraction. We have 10/9 here. So we got to take that 10/9. Let's just go over here and make our 10/9. And we're going to go ahead and divide that. So how many times does 9 go into 10? 1 time. How much is left over after I take 9 away from 10? I have 1 left over. Remember that 1 then becomes my numerator. My denominator stays 9. So this 10/9 is equal to 1 and 1/9. So I can simply take my whole number 7 and add that to, I'm not adding it to 10/9, but what we just did over here, I am adding it to 1 and 1/9. And you can simply ask yourself, what's 7 plus 1? Adding the two whole numbers together, that's 8. And don't forget to add your fraction to it. So it's 8 and 1/9. Hopefully you got that answer. 8 and 1/9. All right, go ahead and pause the video. Work out number 10. And then come back for the solution, if you would, please. All right, so let's solve number 10. I'm going to go ahead and write it over here a little bit. I think it might be simpler for you guys to see. So 4 and 3/7 plus 7 and 1/2. Again, first thing we want to look at is those denominators. And as you can see, we've got a 7 and we have a 2. So we're going to have to create some equivalent fractions. We have to find an LCM number 1. 7 and 2, our LCM is going to be 14. So let's make our equivalent fractions. 7 times 2, which means we're multiplying the 3 times 2. So 6/14 is equal to 3/7. The 2 I'm multiplying by 7, so I'm multiplying the 1 by 7. 1/2 is equal to 7/14. We have our common denominators now, so let's go ahead and add these two numerators. 6 plus 7 is equal to 13/14. Denominator stays the same. Let's add our two whole numbers here. 4 plus 7, that is equal to 11. Can we simplify 13/14? Well, if you've been paying attention, you know once you get a fraction that looks like this, but the number on top is 1 less than the number on the bottom, you know you can't simplify it any further. So this is a simplified mixed number. 11 and 13/14 is our answer. Hopefully you got both of those. All right, so let's think about what we did today. What did we learn? What did we talk about? Well, we talked about mixed numbers, and specifically we talked about adding the mixed numbers today. So what are the steps in adding the mixed numbers? Very similar to when we're adding the fractions, we just have a whole number to add. And sometimes when we end up with an improper fraction, yes, that's one of our vocabulary terms, our academic language. We end up with one of those improper fractions. We need to convert it into a mixed number and add that mixed number to our whole number to get our final sum when we're adding the two mixed numbers. All right, catch you next time. Have a good one, guys.